Hey guys, my name is Kev, and I've been gaming for a very long time. Since the NES days, since the NES was current gen days, I got my first console, which again was the NES, for my third birthday in 1986. And I was hooked. And since then, I spent most of my life playing on consoles with controllers. And even to this day, I play exclusively on PC now. I don't own any consoles any longer, but I still have a collection of controllers. You see my Xbox controller. Here's my DualSense. And I use these all on my PC. I have a 8BitDo NES 6-button style controller. Or that's an NES Genesis style controller. Here's my Switch Pro controller. And I even have a Wiimote. Now this one I actually don't use on my PC. It's just a Wiimote. I have to get a bar for it, which I just haven't gotten around to. And I even have like a fight stick for like fighting games, like an arcade stick, and a flight stick for flying games. Like I like my controllers. And I think I might actually have a new favorite. This bad boy. The Steam controller. The Steam controller came out in 2015, and it was part of Valve's initiative to help get people to PC game on the couch or really in other places besides at the desk on their PCs. They had the Steam Link, which had which was a little streaming box that if you were smart about it, you plugged it into your Wi-Fi or into your router, Ethernet. You plugged your computer into your Ethernet, and you could play pretty reasonably well over your network connection games on the TV in the living room. And it was designed to work with this controller. And then they also had, if you wanted to have like just a native box, you had the Steam Machine, which was the native set-top box. And those were eventually the grandfather or even the father to this guy, Steam Deck. And it was actually the Steam Deck that helped me fall in love with the Steam controller. And all of this is just me making a big whoop-de-woo about me liking this controller and why it's one of my favorite controllers of all time, and it's currently my kind of go-to controller. This controller, when it came out, it got destroyed in the reviews, and it never sold well. It never did well. Everybody said it's too out there, it's too weird, it's too off. Nobody liked it. And even me, when I first got my hands on it, I said, this controller is weird. This controller's out there. I don't understand it. Why don't I have a right analog stick? What are these trackpads? These trackpads are too sensitive, or they're not sensitive enough depending on the game I'm playing. Why does it flip back and forth between mouse and keyboard, which it still does sometimes, and being like a regular controller for some games? But it's the customization and the feature set that you can do within Steam, and the gyro aiming, which was not commonplace in controllers like it is now, where really the only place you don't get it now is an Xbox controller. Those were there. The haptics in the pads, so you get that haptic feedback that's in the DualSense triggers. That was in this guy. And a lot of just other really cool customizations that now are actually present and run rampant in the Steam Deck. So let's talk about what it is I like about the Steam controller. We're going to talk about what I like and what I don't like. Let's talk about the things I don't like, because the problems with the Steam controller are well documented online. It's too lightweight of a plastic, and it does feel cheap in the hands. People do not like this guy. This took a long time for me to get used to. This was probably the biggest barrier for me, because this replaces your right analog stick, but it does have the click, so you can click in there. But it's getting used to how you turn and move with it, and you really have to do some tweaking in the Steam settings with this. You have to do a little bit with it on the Steam Deck too, but it's a lot more accurate on deck. This D-pad, it's okay. I would honestly to this day wish I had a regular D-pad on it. But this is functional. It works. You can do what you need to do on it. You just hit the corners. You can apparently do some little actions here on the edges too with these trackpads, but I don't do those. I don't mess with those. So yeah, there's that. The analog stick is perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable. I like the analog stick. And the face buttons here, being in this position kind of threw people off. It throws me off slightly when I was first learning how to use it, but I just don't like how small the face buttons are. You could talk about the bumpers and the triggers. The triggers, or whatever to me, the bumpers. They do feel a little far, like I have to stretch my finger out a little bit, and I have large hands, and you still have to stretch the fingers out a little bit to get that clicky motion up there, and then it just doesn't feel amazing. So overall, I get it. The controller feels cheap. However, with all of the options and things that you can do with it in Steam, and I'm going to switch over to my Steam view so you guys can see the different options and things that you can do with controllers in here. So you guys can see exactly what I mean, exactly what I'm getting at when it comes to just pure options. So this is the configuration tool, and you could use this configuration tool on basically any controller that you want to on Steam. You could, like, I can plug in this Xbox controller and it'll give me a similar configuration option. But right now we're using the Steam controller just so you can see some of the stuff that I like about it. I like, you can go in here, there's kind of the desktop configuration, which is what it's on now. And you can navigate windows with this. Like, I'm using the trackpad right here on here just as the mouse on the screen to move it around. Right click, left click to do your right trigger, left trigger, or your mouse clicks, just like on the Steam Deck. It all basically functions like the Steam Deck. You can turn on gyro, and you get some different options with your gyros. You can do different things with your mouse if you want to create like a shift mode. You can do that as well. There are so many different things that you can do in here with this, and this is why I love the Steam controller. It's all of the different customizations and options that you have in here for the controller to customize it to fit your own needs. It isn't a one size fits all thing like, say, a PlayStation controller and Xbox controller. You have two back little bumper pads here, which you can also use for additional mouse clicks, or really whatever you want to, because all of this is programmable within Steam. So you could say, hey, I want a regular press, double press, do all kinds of just wild, crazy stuff in here. I didn't realize you could have haptics on those back pedals. I don't use the back pedals. Even when I had like my Xbox Elite controller, I didn't use the back pedals. But it's really cool. Just all this stuff that you can do here. You can change different keys to function to do whatever you want to. So customizable in a different way. You can do the full or half pulls, soft pulls on the triggers like you do on the DualSense. You don't have the haptics in the triggers. That would be nice. And if they ever do a Steam controller too, please do a Steam controller too. I would love to see the haptics in the triggers. Of course, the joysticks, you can do all of that stuff too. You can use the outer ring commands to do certain commands if you want to too. Like I was talking about, you can like take the controller here. You can just like literally just take your finger in and assign something like that to the controller. It's so cool. Different trackpad behaviors that you can do even on the left trackpads. Oh no, this is the joystick outer ring. So you could do a command on the joystick outer ring. I didn't realize that. I was thinking about it as the trackpad outer ring, because you could do command there too. You could do command touches. There's so much here. And I think this controller, because of that, you can create virtual menus and do other commands too, action sets, where you would effectively create like memory keys or like combinations of buttons and do that there too. So many cool things. This is why I love this controller. And yes, you can go in there, like if I turn this controller off, which I'm going to go ahead and do, just wait for it to turn off, and I go in here and I'll just use my Xbox Series S controller or X controller. Look at the difference in just how few options you have here. You see here I'm on my Xbox controller. And the same is true with the DualSense as well and the Switch controller. In terms of just the options and flexibility you have in here, it's just not the same. I wish it was, but there's just so little you can do in there. And I like options. That's one of my favorite things about PC gaming, that you have options and choice and flexibility. Because when you have options, that means you can create and share and do different things here that just put more power in the hands of the player, allowed you to play the way you want to play. So yeah, so for me, the Steam Deck controller, for all of those reasons, I know this video is very off the cuff, but for all of those reasons is why I believe the Steam Deck controller is very underappreciated, and it's also one of the greatest controllers ever created. It is my go-to daily driver controller at this point. There are some games that I just won't play with it. Like if I'm playing like NBA 2K, I'm obviously not going to use this. I'm obviously don't use this on VR games. It doesn't make sense to use those there. I wouldn't use this on a Souls game. If I ever played another Souls game, I haven't touched Souls since Dark Souls 3. But yeah, I wouldn't do it there either. There's just not a lot of reasons for me to use those in those kind of games. But like, I've been playing Diablo 4 lately on this. I've been playing, when I played Persona 5 Royal, I played it on this. I played parts of Starfield on this. I played parts of God of War 2018 on this. Now I played what you call Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I played that with this. That's just that. I wanted this. I wanted to try the options for the DualSense. But basically, this whole video and this whole kind of rant, kind of just for me, just having fun talking about the Steam controller, is kind of a plea and a hopefully somebody at Valve will see this. Please make a Steam controller too. I know it's not high on your priorities list. I know you guys are probably working on the Steam Deck 2. I know you guys are probably working on the Index 2 or the Deckard. I want to see another one of these. Because this, like I said, and I'm rambling now, was really ahead of its time. Deserves more love, more credit, and I think more people would flock to this controller now after using the Steam controller or after using the Steam Deck. Especially because you guys have refined everything that you've taken from this and put it into this. If you love this, if you have a Steam controller or Steam Deck and you have a Steam controller as well, try the Steam controller again after learning those trackpads. Take some time on the deck to actually learn the trackpads, and I think you'll like the Steam controller as much as I do. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have you used the Steam controller? Have you not? Let me know. Share with a friend. Like if you like the video, of course, please subscribe. That really does help grow the channel. I'll talk to you guys next time, and thanks for watching.